I am Phoebe, welcome back to the Backlog Quest. I have finished another item from my backlog, which is Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. There will be spoilers for the movie, so if you don't want any, now is your chance to leave. The new Broly movie is a recent addition to my backlog. I got it as soon as it came out on Blu-ray, but I haven't watched it before now because I had other shows that were a priority before this movie, even though as soon as I got home, I wanted to put it in the DVD player and watch it. I've been a fan of Dragon Ball Z for many, many years. I used to watch it in the morning before I went to school when it was originally airing in Australia, which is how I was introduced to the show in the first place. Back then, I wasn't aware of the difference between anime and cartoons. I just knew it was a cartoon that I loved to watch every single week, and that is what I've done. So this is a movie that I really wanted to see at the movies, but unfortunately, the only weekend that it aired at the movie theatres, I was busy with other things, so I just didn't get the chance to actually go. But I got to see the Frieza movie and the Battle of the Gods movie both at the movie theatre when they came out, and it was just amazing seeing Dragon Ball on big screen, and I wish I got to see this movie on big screen as well, because there is so many scenes in the movie that would have just looked amazing seeing them up on the big picture, and there's something amazing seeing a show that you like surrounded by other people that love the same thing that you do, which I loved the atmosphere at the movie theatre when I saw the previous two movies. So despite my love of Dragon Ball, I have not kept up with Dragon Ball Super, and I never finished Dragon Ball Z. I finished Dragon Ball Z. I never finished Dragon Ball GT. I tried to watch GT when Z finished and went straight into GT, and it was just a struggle. I would watch random episodes in the morning, but I don't remember many of the episodes. I have it on DVD just so I have it all on DVD, and I've never watched it all the way through. I've never watched Kai, even though I have that on Blu-ray, because I got that when it came out, which is just remastered Dragon Ball Z, and that's another thing that I haven't watched. So I haven't kept up with Super. I plan to watch Super eventually, but I'm waiting for it to all come out on Blu-ray. I'm not sure where they come up to. I'm hoping they come out with a collection with all of them in the one box set together, and I'm not actually sure what's out at the moment because I haven't kept up with anime DVDs like I used to, and yeah, I plan to eventually watch Dragon Ball Super, but at the moment I haven't, so I've just decided to keep up with the new Dragon Ball movies when they come out. That is enough about what I haven't watched out of my backlog of Dragon Ball stuff. My only disappointment about this movie was the fact that Gohan isn't in it at all. Gohan is my second favourite character, my favourite character being Future Trunks, but Future Trunks I know is not going to be in this movie, but the likes of Gohan I would have loved to have seen because, like I said, my favourite character that's in the show on a regular basis. And that was the only thing about the movie that I didn't like, so that is a very minor complaint in the scheme of things. This movie ended up being different than what I was expecting it to be. It's like I've watched the original Broly movies from Dragon Ball Z, so I knew it was going to be different to that, but I still had expectations of what was going to be in the movie from what I'd seen of the Broly movie. The introduction to Planet Vegeta and seeing the Saiyans living their normal lives and seeing the longer view of Broly in the pod and actually getting to see Vegeta in the pod and little Goku in the pod at home instead of with Broly like in the original Broly movie. It was just different than what I was expecting, but I loved seeing more of Vegeta, the planet, not the person. And I loved that we got to see Goku and Raditz's mother, and that Raditz was actually mentioned, because in a lot of stuff, Raditz is never mentioned at all. So I love, or Raditz, I always say his name wrong, but I love that Raditz was actually mentioned in this movie, because in a lot of the other movies where they show Goku getting flung off the planet to Earth, they never mention the fact that he's got an older brother. So the fact that he was mentioned and that we got to see him with Vegeta as the planet was destroyed, I loved. And I loved seeing that there was extra Saiyans with them when the planet was destroyed, and there's a brief mention of Tarbell, even though they don't mention his actual name at all. So it was little things like that I loved seeing in this movie. One of the things that I wasn't sure about was Vegeta and Goku going to chase after Frieza to get the Dragon Balls and meet with Broly that way. That was my expectation at first, that they were going to go into space chasing after the Dragon Balls when they'd realised they'd been stolen. I wasn't actually expecting Frieza to be so involved in this movie in the present day, so I was expecting him to be involved in the past, because they like showing the planet being blown up in the movies that revolve around Broly. But I wasn't expecting him to be so involved in the future, even though he'd been brought back in the other movie. Another change I wasn't expecting was the fact that Broly couldn't turn Super Saiyan at the start. It's like right from the get-go, but I loved the fact that he learnt how to go Super Saiyan during the fight, and the fight was a lot of fun. We got to see Gogeta, which I always love seeing the fusion, so actually getting to see a fusion again in the movie after so long of not seeing a fusion was great fun, and I just had a lot of fun watching the fight scene, and I loved the ending of Broly getting whisked back to his planet that he'd grown up on with the two members from the Frieza Force who'd found him originally, and just wanting to live in peace. A very different Broly than what we've had portrayed in the past, because in the past it's always been absolutely crazy, insane, uncontrollable rage Broly who's obsessed with killing Kakarot, and here we get a Broly that has no idea who Kakarot even is and still has that insanity, but it's not at the same level as before, and he still loses control, but it's not the same, but it's different, and I loved it anyway. So if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, I definitely recommend watching this movie. Even if you haven't kept up with the Dragon Ball franchise, like I haven't kept up with it at all, so there is some things that are referred to that I know are in the Super TV show, which I haven't kept up with, but it's easy enough to follow even if you haven't kept up with it. It's just a fun fighting movie, and a fun fighting movie it is that I could very easily just sit back and watch when I want something from Dragon Ball that's not too focus heavy, which is what most of the movies are, so I highly recommend it. I think I have got a couple of Dragon Ball Z movies that I haven't finished yet, but I'm not sure which ones I have seen and which ones I haven't seen. I may have watched all of them, but at one point I plan to sit down and watch all the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies, and I'll rewatch the Dragon Ball Super movies at the same time when I do that. I'm just not sure when yet. Maybe over my Christmas break when I have time off from work, I might sit down and have a Dragon Ball Z movie marathon day, and if I do, I'll have a compiled video of which is my favourite to least favourite of the Dragon Ball Z movies that are out so far, and which ones I would like to see revisited, like Dragon Ball Z Broly has been revisited. And I'll be back next week, and my review for next week will be another movie that I wanted to see that while it was in cinemas and missed out on, and that is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Another one that I got as soon as it came out on DVD and just didn't get around to watching just yet because other things were higher priority. So thank you for joining me.